got Proteas Test captain, Faf du Plessis, and man of the match, Ramada. Would you please just start with questions for Faf? Then we'll switch over and we'll have questions for Faf. So, it's the floor is open. Yes, Ali?
Faf, how sweet was that victory?
Yeah, that's an incredible test match for us. I think especially after, which was a tough loss in the first test in Durban, where we were put under pressure for most of the test. To turn it around like we did, especially losing toss 94-1 or whatever in the first session. This test for me was just a great test match of huge pride and character that's in our team. And we changed it around from the first test. As I said, they were on top for us for most of the time, whereas this test match it was the other way around.
And you think that the balance is sorting itself out now with batsmen and bowlers performing?
I think it's really important. I think it happened in the second innings in Durban, which was a little bit of a peg in the ground for us as a batting unit, where two young guys put up the hand and with Quinny put some nice batting and a little bit of showed a bit of character to get some runs on the board. And as you saw in the first innings, it was important for us to absorb a little bit. Australia is going to have times in the test when they put you under pressure, and we absorbed brilliantly with Dean and Hashim, just making sure that the bowlers stay out there and bowl their third and fourth spells. And then it set it up for a AB masterclass, which is the perfect situation for him to come in when you've absorbed for a while. You can just come in and transfer that pressure. So all in all, bowling, batting, fielding, a very good test match for us.
Not taking anything away from the team, but three special performances. One, this young man sitting here, the fastest to get 10 wicket hauls, 4 of them for South Africa. AB's 100, and also Quinny behind the stumps, 9 or 10 catches, if I'm not mistaken, in the match.
Now, Quinny would say those were regular catches, so I think you can single out the man to my left. A lot has been said about how amazing KG's rise. Best strike rate, I think, in the world at the moment, or ever. So I don't think you have to say too much more. But to have him in your side as a captain is a huge pleasure. The skill in which he does make the ball talk in both directions. We've got both teams are very, very high class reverse swing. They've got high class reverse swing bowlers. But what makes KG for me so special is he does it both ways at pace, and he doesn't give a lot of bad balls away. And I honestly still think that KG will get better. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in his future.
Baby's not so many. It's been a long time coming, obviously, 3 years.
Yep.
Then a couple of years out.
No, as I mentioned to you guys before the series, I could see in his eyes that he had a huge hunger, and the stuff that we spoke about before the series as a team, I could see really at home with him and extremely hungry to make a play. And I said to him last night, I'm just really pleased to see that he's walking the talk. All the stuff that he spoke about, he's coming through with it. So really looking forward to see what he's going to do for the rest of the series when he's in that sort of form. Very, very happy to have him on my side.
Faf, you spoke about it at the presentation. Can you tell us exactly what you know about KG in the first charge regarding the ICC? It's clear that there has been a decision made. Can you let us know what the decision is and what how it affects KG's participation in the series?
Has a decision been made? No.
There's no decision?
No decision been made. I mean, we obviously spoke to them last night, and they said they're going to take 24 hours to decide. I just said in the post-match that conversation we had with the match referees after the Durban test, he was telling us that it's important for the rest of the series that you don't just get players out of matches and you don't ban them. Obviously talking about Davey Warner's issue, that he still wanted to keep him in the series, and he didn't want to make a level 3 would have been suspension straight away. So I just said I would hope that the same would apply to KG.
But everything you said about Proteas is true, and also he's a wonderful player, and it's great to see him there. But it's also true that he attracts the attention of the match referee more often than he should. Does he make you nervous for that?
No, not at all. I mean, as I said, our style of play is never one to to swear at players and to chirp them all the time. For me, you know, if you look at the way KG plays the game, he's a competitive fast bowler and he works bloody hard. He runs in and he bowls quick for long periods of time. And when he gets big wickets, that's celebration. You know, that's energy, that's passion. For me, it's pure passion that he shows when he gets a wicket. Obviously, these days the attention have changed so much to what is allowed and what is not allowed, and what is within the spirit of the game and what isn't. I just think that has changed so much over the last year or two that you're getting a lot more incidents happening now than before. You know, 2-3 years ago, that was the norm, and then KG would have, you know, there would have been nothing from him. So for me, it's pure passion. When you know KG's character, and when you know KG plays with all these guys in the IPL, you would know that he's not a guy that is like that. It's just pure working hard for a wicket, celebrate, and it's like Dale Steyn. I mean, Dale, fortunately for Dale, he just does it at the top of his, he doesn't follow through and do it, he just does it there where he blows his veins open. KG has 3 or 4 steps and does exactly the same. So for me, I don't get nervous. Where the game's going, with every single thing being monitored over TV and what you do and what you say, KG will probably have to get a little bit smarter with when he celebrates a wicket. But for me, I don't see what he does as wrong. I just see it as passion.
Ian?
But just before you mentioned before about KG's skill and influence on this match, what happens if he can't play the next 2 matches? Is Dale Steyn a chance at all, do you think, for Cape Town?
I'm not 100% sure where Dale is. From my understanding is that he needed to play a game this week, which he didn't. Which will probably set him back a little bit for the 3rd test, I would assume, because our plans for him was to play a game. But I would be playing extra hard then, that he would be ready for that 3rd test to make sure that we can have him available if he is. But on the spot now, I would assume probably only the 4th test.
Faf, you just completed a series in India where every one of your batters received a send-off from the World Cup, and there was no central or any demerit points involved. Would you like to see a bigger, basically a fair process across all?
I think that's the biggest concern that we face, all teams now, is the fact that everyone just always asks for consistency. So that's why I say one match referee or umpire interprets in another way. So for me, is if you make it so sensitive, then guys will interpret it the wrong way. That's why I think we're just going a little bit too on the sensitive side with everything at the moment, because every single incident is like the cameras. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? And it's Test cricket. It should be played. As I said, we as a team have got no issues the way the Australian team play their brand of cricket. It's good. It's good for the game of Test cricket. You know, people talk about where's Test cricket going, where's the future of Test cricket. This is, for me, it's an important part of Test cricket, is the battles that you face, the small battles. That is, you know, KG running in for 15 overs, trying to get someone out, and eventually when he gets him out, he has to show that passion. Otherwise, you can just put a bowling machine and a robot to bat.
And if you should lose KG with this, would it be bittersweet?
You know, once again, I think this series has been too much about other stuff. You know, it should be about the cricket. Australia played great in the 1st test. They were really good. They were better than us. This test match, we turned it around and we played some excellent cricket. And once again, there's a lot of off-field stuff that is taking the shine off, which has been unbelievable performances by KG and especially AB as well, the way that he batted. So that should be headlines every day. Yeah. How I see it is, I understand it as the charge against KG was a level 2 with, I think, 3 demerit points, and the charge against Davey was a level 2 with 3 demerit points. For me, if you look at those both incidents, one is brushing of a shirt The other one is a lot more aggressive. So that was my question: is why is both of these incidents labelled as exactly the same? Because for me they're not. So yeah, I would assume that if it was a normal situation, you could say that the contact was very, very minimal. It was a shirt flick of two players, and that you would probably get 1 or 2 demerit points as a slap on the wrist because it wasn't full body contact. But that's where I'm sitting as a player, not as an official.
Is the demerit point system unfair? Does it need to be?
Honestly, I don't know enough about the demerit system to comment on it. But as I said, I think there needs to be different categories, not just a law that says if there was contact and contact was that it was a level 3 offence. There would be different stages of body contact. So it's just, as I said, you go look at the situation in context, and then you make a decision on what you see, not on what the rule book says.
And it's the last for Dan, Kane, Vita, and Fidos. Dan?
That's you, Dan.
In terms of the last few years, there have been a few codes of conduct for South Africa,
Yeah.
and it's seen a lot of hearings, a lot of sort of challenging
Yeah.
decisions. Has there been dialogue at another level with the ICC about the code in general and the way things run, or is it sort of you're still sort of trying to handle it on a case by case basis?
Yeah, our strike rate 0% at the moment, with trying to challenge these cases. So I mean, it'll probably stay at 0%. I don't think there's a big turnover, if you can call it that, when it comes to these things. But yeah, as I said before, for me it's just about, you look at the context of this series. It is crucial that you have your best players playing. So for us it's about proving that what KG did was, whether they call it as body contact, we would say that it was a shirt being brushed or it was not deliberate or whatever. Because there's a bigger thing here. There's a series that needs to be played, and as I said, what they mentioned, when the match referee mentioned that there's bigger things to play for you, and that's why I didn't want to ban Davey Warner for 2 test matches and make it a level 3 offence, is because he wants him to play the rest of the series. It's 2 big teams playing, so I just asked the same question.
Faf, what do the players feel about the ICC code of contact sort of rule that, as KG has been in a couple of times, with behaviour that could provoke an aggressive response from the batsman? I mean, technically, therefore, today, what Mitchell Marsh said to KG, that could be turned around and pinned on KG because he's provoked, an aggressive response from the batsman.
Well, that's where the balance of consistency comes in. It's so difficult to be consistent because what is, I don't even know what those 2 words you said, when you entice someone or whatever you called it, but it's so difficult to always be consistent because there will always be different interpretation. A umpire sees Test cricket as a game of playing hard and playing it, not old school, but definitely playing a little bit more harder, and he lets the few things go, and then you get umpires which are much more by the book, and they look at every single incident. So that's why I said earlier, for me it's just about trying to let the game go a little bit, let it play on, let the cricket be the main focus. We understand where there's boundaries, and we don't try and push them. But for me, if you take an incident like that, you would see that he wasn't trying to overrun Stephen Smith. He was just very, very passionate when he got him out.
Considering what's happened over the last 2 tests, and there's quite a number of days between the next one, use it as a break to just switch off, or do you want to keep up what's been happening?
No, I think it's important that you switch off. It's been 2 back-to-back highly contested 2 test matches. There's been a lot of tough days of test cricket, mentally and physically. So it's important that the guys do get away a little bit, freshen up, get their minds ready, get their bodies ready, and then come back and practice really hard and get ourselves ready for Cape Town to hit the ground running.
Non-disciplinary issues, there's been a lot of other stuff going on around this test match and the previous one. We had a lot of guys sitting here saying, when it comes to aggression or sledging or whatever, this is a men's game, or just men out there playing. What exactly do you mean by that when you say this is a men's game?
Well, we men and we play the game, so that's. No, it's just the Test cricket that I assume that I speak of that I grew up playing. It's probably different for younger guys, but when I started, and I don't say that I sound old. I think I'm still there and thereabouts. But when I started playing cricket, Test cricket, my first series was against Australia, and it was a real eye opener for me to hear all the things that I was called that series, you know. And I think it's good for the game, you know. That's what makes Test cricket so exciting, you know. They've got 3, 4 fast bowlers running in and trying to be aggressive against you, and it's about how much you can stand back and fight against that. So what I mean about that is not to be so oversensitive about every single thing, but to let a few things go. And obviously, as I said, for us it's really important how that happens. There is still a line for me when it comes to swearing. I don't see swearing as a you know, for me, in my personal opinion, swearing and send-offs and stuff like that is unnecessarily. It's about playing the game, as I said, playing the game hard and fair. That means great body language, intensity, all the stuff that I've mentioned before, and passion. Passion is one of those things.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Phil.
Cheers.